Welcome to the Pump Rules Podcast, the show where cast and connoisseurs come to talk all things Vanderpump Rules. Very excited to have Messy Queens on the show.
Hey!
Hello!
Tell the audience a little bit about who you are and how your show Messy Queens started.
We're the Messy Queens, and we...
That's good enough. Okay, so the episode was great, right? No.
we do messy things a lot. We drink a lot. We're under tables a lot. Yeah.
Which is very on brand for Vanderpump Rules. I think it fits well.
We're very Pump Rules without the cameras following us around.
And there's no pasta.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's all about the pasta.
It is all about the pasta. But, you know, it's not about the pasta. Won't you read between the fucking lines?
Yeah.
Learn your place, mother.
That needs to be a t-shirt. I would buy 5.
I think there's a whole bunch of shirts that could go for Lala. Pardon me for a second. I have to clear my throat again. There, it's still bad, but it's fine.
You sound amazing.
Oh, I thank you,
I'm
Christopher.
actually obsessed with your voice.
Really?
Yeah, if you could fuck a voice,
Well,
I would be not only marrying yours.
He'd put a ring on it.
Wow. Well,
I'd put a ring on it.
I'm blushing, which the audience can't see, but we'll post a picture. Wait, thank you. Well, I have to say your delivery is I'm quite fond of as well, especially your laugh. You have a terrific laugh. And
No.
I love it. I have a rather loud laugh as well, as I'm sure you've heard on the show. And I appreciate yours. And Xtina as well. You both have a terrific rapport together. So I've been sort of obsessed with your show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well,
That's so
we're cousins, so we're
Yeah.
Oh, right. The familial rhythm. Yeah.
we're kind of nature made us a lot more similar.
She's the gay best friend I never had.
Yeah.
I call her a gay boy.
I'm not gay, but we can hope. We all have dreams. That's one of mine.
Which reminds me of Jax mentioning when he's having a little chat with Billy, he says something to the effect of, I've sort of been pretending to be a person I'm not for my whole life, which I thought was kind of an interesting look into the shattered pain of Jax Taylor.
Oh, there's a whole lot to unpack there. I'm a psychology graduate of psychology, and so he's probably a perfect candidate for a thesis paper that I have yet to write. So
Yeah, he really is fascinating because even though obviously, especially in light of recent events, you still feel for him.
you know what? Like, I feel like every season we have the discussion of whether or not Jax is a sociopath.
Yeah, yeah, it's an evergreen. Yeah,
especially when the whole thing came up about him sleeping with Kristen, and I remember
Sure.
that scene on the beach
Oh,
with
yeah.
Tom. No emotion, right? But what I find interesting is like this last episode when he was doing Reiki, because obviously the Pump Rules guys were doing Reiki.
of course.
He cried. He cried.
He cried, but then he tried to fuck the girl.
No, but
He wanted to fuck her.
I feel like this puts an end to the whole sociopath thing, though, because
Yeah.
sociopaths don't cry. Like, they don't feel
Okay.
genuine emotion or remorse, or
Right.
maybe I'm like,
a little sweet on him or something. Yeah.
I don't think that's the word, but like,
I was going to say if she handed him a condom, he would have put it on right there. But he doesn't. He's not one to even care if he has a condom, so never mind.
or if there's a 90-year-old present.
That's right. Or an elderly woman, maybe 10 feet away.
Right. Oh, that was amazing.
It's amazing for television for, that woman's family, not so much.
Right, because at least one person, was watching and they're like, oh my God, Nana? No, they knew.
Don't you wish she woke up during it?
I bet she did. And was just,
maybe.
and she was just like, oh, well, what's going
I
on
want
here?
to
Yeah.
I want to interview her.
Yeah.
We should she's a witness.
We should get her on your podcast and ours.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll do a joint episode. I wonder if there's
Yes.
if maybe there's secret tape of her waking up.
Oh, yeah, that would be awesome. Well, even if she did, it's probably the best thing that ever happened to her.
I mean,
Or
yeah.
in years.
Yeah, absolutely. At least in years, yeah.
If you're bedridden, I'd be happy to have a free show.
Yeah, she's like, well, Faith can't really cook that well, and she doesn't really change my bed dressing, but every once in a while, there's some excitement here, which is more than I can say for the last orderly.
Yes.
Go, Nana. Go, Nana.
Go Go Nana.
That's another shirt I'd be happy to. If Messy Queens puts out shirts, I want a Go Nana shirt.
Oh yeah.
Go Nana.
And speaking of gay best friends, what's your take on Logan and James?
Ooh, that was getting a little intense.
Right? Yeah.
A little intense.
Raquel's look. I mean, Raquel, some people say she's in a fog most of the time, and... well, okay, maybe we'll rephrase that. Okay.
No, fog is appropriate. She's, takes a while to answer questions.
Sure, sure.
You kind of can feel the wheels trying to turn in there. But she's really pretty. So.
But you're right. That look on her face.
Yeah.
When he was like, "Oh no, we're more than just best friends."
The sour look on her face, and it really reminded me of an episode of Dynasty.
Crystal Carrington.
Yeah, exactly. What's going on with Steven and that man? Logan basically says, duh, when she goes, yeah, but there's something going on here. And he's like, basically like, duh, yeah, what do you think?
Yes.
Every gay guy, including myself, was like, oh, damn, I wish it was me. Bend that little twink over. Am I allowed to say that?
Oh, yeah, please. Say it again. Yeah.
I think Kristen's assessment, though, in the preview for next week, I think that probably best sums up that situation.
Sure.
I don't think James is gay, but I think he's definitely an experimenter.
Yeah.
Heteroflexible, I think, is the chic term these days, right?
That's the PC term, I think.
I think he'd suck a dick for the right DJing gig.
Yeah.
Another PC term.
We were able to get some Babe Rosé to you guys. I hope it got there in time.
So delicious.
Fantastic. Yeah, good. And hopefully soon you can try Pink Party, their other variety, which is all from Swish Beverage Company. So thank you, Swish Beverage Company. There was a fair amount of drinking on this episode, which is good because there was a lot of activities in the front half. Usually they have these activities when they go to the spa or they get their hair done or Botox or whatever.
Right.
It's usually like one per episode, but I feel like there was so much mayhem at the front of the season that they couldn't fit any of it in.
There has just been bomb after bomb after bomb. I feel like I think Ariana actually said this in an interview, but like what would be an entire season of drama is really in one episode.
Yeah.
Like any other show is really like one episode of Vanderpump Rules. It opened with a bang.
Yeah.
Like
I'll say. Yeah.
with literally Jax's bang. Like
Yeah, I still can't get past it. Poor Brittany. What is she doing?
Oh, my God.
Leave Brittany alone.
Hasn't she been through enough already?
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people will probably disagree with me on this, but, a lot of people speculate, have seen online, she's with him for the, to stay on the show or for a storyline and things like that. But I can see it on her face. Like, she genuinely loves this guy.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, totally. Yeah. I agree with 100%. Yeah.
Like, I don't think she cares about the fame and I'm sure she likes all the perks that come with dating a reality star, but
now she's a reality star, though. You know what I mean? So
that's, yeah.
She is one now. Yeah. Even Lisa Vanderpump was like, please don't go home. Like, just stay here even if you break up kind of thing. So
right.
She's not leaving the show.
No.
With or without Jax.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love when Lisa has her mild intervention moments.
Oh, I live for them.
I mean, how great was the coded language of what she was talking to Scheana? She's dancing around something.
Yes.
You're very thin.
Yeah. You're shaking.
Some pasta. It's all about the pasta.
It's all about the pasta. And I wonder what the pasta was that in question that night.
I'm thinking it was something with like an Alfredo sauce. Right. I don't know. I could just picture like a really hearty, thick, creamy pasta.
So we're both Italian, and that's why all I can think about. I just keep coming back to the pasta.
We're like, what kind was it? Was there meat sauce?
Was there cheese? What kind of cheese?
Right. I keep thinking for some reason there was peas in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I could see that. I could see Raquel ordering peas. I think that would be a possibility. Yeah.
A possibility. Yeah.
A possibility.
Yeah.
A possibility.
And how dare you steal her pasta? Like we'd cut a bitch for that.
In our family.
How much booze do you think is in those shots that he has? So he orders double shots of vodka and then double shots of bourbon. And then he also has like an orangey drink with him. So he's like 5 drinks deep very quickly in.
I think one drink in would do some serious damage to him.
James is not very good with the alcohol, so he just goes to this angry attack everybody place, including Lala, who is the best friend that he's got. She's the nicest person to him.
Except for Jax now, because they can trip out together.
I seriously love them together. Them on Absinthe,
Amazing.
Yeah,
Was it Green Fairy?
Green Fairy, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that was like, they were Tom level of in love.
Yeah.
In that moment.
The bromance is strong.
It was so strong. I was so impressed.
Can we do Green Fairy and record a podcast? Like, that would be so much fun.
I'd tune in.
Messiest episode ever.
Very on brand.
Back to the meditation thing. What did you think of the fact that Peter is the one leading the charge there? Did it surprise you, or do you find that in line with what you think of Peter?
Not surprising at all. I'm actually surprised that Peter isn't shown a bit more, because I feel like he's a good balance.
Yeah, it's true. And he cut his hair. Even more reason to show him more.
Do you know what happened?
Welcome to 2017.
2018.
Oh, yeah, it's 2018.
Drink your absinthe.
I'm having a sip of this rosé.
You're stabbing so much of the... I know he's not a main cast member, so that's probably why it wasn't addressed. Uh-huh. But what happened to the single mom he was seeing? I think, was it 2 seasons ago?
That's
Sarah?
Right. That's right. Yeah, Sarah.
I feel like she just dropped off the face of the Pump Rules earth.
I think she did. I think what happened is that they broke up after the taping of that season.
I was trolling through the Pump Rules hashtag, and someone actually said that Peter and Brittany would make a really good couple.
There'd be a lot of nice.
It would be a whole lot of...
Actually, they would. Yeah.
Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you.
He's honestly the type of guy she deserves, in my opinion. As someone nice and wholesome and...
Peter, I don't know. I've always felt like his role should have gotten a little bit bigger as the years have passed.
Right.
Pump in the Pump universe. Because he's a manager there. So it's not like he's not always at the restaurant. He's friends with all of them.
I'm always surprised in the reunions that they leave him out of it and he just comes in at the end and serves everyone a drink.
Yeah.
Like, really?
I know.
He's at all the parties. He knows he can spill so much tea. He's got it there.
Well, we even saw when the ladies are listening to that recording, which, by the way, wouldn't we all love to hear that recording?
I would sell you, Xtopher, to get a recording.
Looking for a new co-host.
They can do whatever they want to Xtopher, as long as I just want to hear it once. I just want to hear it once.
Just stay away from my pasta. I'm dying to hear that recording. I would love to hear all of it, every word.
Oh, yeah. Every grunt.
I mean, we got the gist of it. I'm from everyone talking about it.
Sure.
But, yeah.
But no, I do remember that scene. Peter's like, he looks like he's in pain. Like he's sitting in the corner and all the women are there, you know. Lala went on that whole like Norma Ray feminist tangent there that women have to stick together, and then Peter's on the couch and just like, he looked genuinely heartbroken.
Yeah. Stunned. He didn't quite know what to do,
Like he's never met Jax before.
Maybe constipated.
And he just doesn't
Maybe
move.
He was just constipated.
That could be true. You never know.
You never know.
You never know.
What do you think about Lala this season? And also, what was your first take of Lala when she came onto the show?
I love Lala. I wish we could spill more on her. I wish she would, like, show us these guys with the private jets.
No, see, I want so badly to like Lala. I really, if I was just watching the show, especially this season, I would like her. But because I know so much about the off-camera stuff, it's hard for me to like her.
What off-camera stuff specifically?
The whole married man thing. You know, first there was last season, it was like this whole song and dance about, you know, I'm not dating a guy who's married. I'm dating a football player. No, I'm not dating it. Like, she invited, like, she's kind of pathological because she invited Tom and Ariana to a Jacksonville Jaguars game. Remember that?
Yeah, that's right. Right.
And I'm like, but you weren't even dating anybody on the team. Like, you were going to fly them out to a game to, like, what was going to happen? Like, you were going to just go in the locker room and pray that no one knew you were there? Like, I don't understand.
Or just come out and say, oh, you know what? He's not feeling well, so he's not going to be out. But next time you'll meet him and you'll love him.
Yeah.
I would love to know who signed the waivers to hang out with her and her boyfriend.
Me too.
But was that the same? That's Randall Emmett, then, I'm guessing.
Yes, it's been made fully public. And, there was a new news story a few hours ago that Lala apparently pulled all photos of Randall from her Instagram and Twitter, and any mention of him has been pulled. So, of course, the Inquisitor now is surmising that maybe there's been a split.
I would not be surprised.
Really? That'd be the first thing I do. I'd delete all existence of you.
Yeah. When you break up with someone, you kind of have to, even if you don't remove them entirely, you've got to prune.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to trim some of those hedges, yeah.
It's like waxing before a date.
You got to keep fresh. You got to keep correct. Yeah.
But I don't, honestly, though, I take that with a grain of salt because I don't trust a lot of what Lala says. So even if, like, she scrubbed him from her social media, that just could mean something completely different than a breakup. I don't know. Like, she's just very sketchy to me.
That's interesting because I had a lot of issues with her last season because just of her shifting stories. When it was like, oh, my mom bought me the car. Oh, no, the football player did. Oh, it's my own money. Then I just thought, look, you're lying so much. Why would anyone believe you about anything?
Exactly. And then she's just like, I suck good dick. Why wouldn't I get a Range Rover? It's like, well, whose dick were you sucking, Lala? Like, whose dick bought you the Range Rover? It's just, and then the whole timeline of that is sketchy. Like,
Of course you just want to know about the dick. Whose dick?
Well, obviously. I mean, like.
What dick? How many dicks?
Can I get a Range Rover from that dick? Like, without sucking it? But...
Where's my private jet?
Where's the magic dick is what the question is, I guess.
According to Lala, I don't have tits, so I can't. I'm not pretty. I don't have a vagina and tits. So.
You can't ride on a private jet.
No private jet for me.
Well, not that private jet, but there's other private jets.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
You just got to get a different benefactor. That's all. Just saying.
This segment brought to you by Dry Spell, the his and hers antiperspirant that will keep you parched and grouchy all the livelong day. Dry Spell. There must be something to it.
What's that movie, Trading Places? Or maybe Freaky Friday. Like,
her and
Kristen sort of did like a Freaky Friday thing.
Right. Because Kristen's going just like, hey, she's just trying to keep everyone cool, I think, in that episode,
and she's
right?
like, crying on Carter's shoulder, looking like genuinely scared. And then Ariana's like, you're fucking obtuse. Like, you're obtuse. Slamming doors. And I'm just like, I'm in Bizarro world. Like, Kristen's in a healthy, happy relationship, at least for now. Like, it's a long season.
Da-da-da, tick-tock, tick-tock.
Well, I just feel like she's been too calm. Like,
you're like, it's too perfect, right? It's too
like, she's like a drama magnet. Like, it follows her.
I miss Crazy Kristen. I want that back.
She's coming. She's there.
Yeah, TikTok.
Yeah, TikTok. She's coming.
I like how she brought up the tracking on the phone, the location tracking. That's classic Kristen.
You know how, like, this whole Russia investigation thing with Donald Trump, they're trying to find, like, the missing, I don't know, tax returns or whatever?
Yeah.
Send Kristen on the case.
Right.
I don't,
the fucking super spy.
He would have been impeached by now if she was the head of the FBI. Like, she would have found some Uber receipts or something. I don't know. Like, she would have found he was really in Russia this time last year. I don't know. But, like,
she is an internet super detective, yeah.
Yeah.
It's true.
What's your take on Tom and Ariana this year?
Okay, he went over the top with her when she was part of the whole recording thing. Like, calm down, boy. Calm down.
You know what's one thing about Tom, and this has kind of been a recurring thing for the past, ever since he broke up with Kristen. And I'm not saying I'm pro, like, Tom and Kristen, but he does have, and this is the only time in the history of my life, in my entire existence, I will ever say this, but I agree with Scheana on something when she
whoa.
when she
Messy Queens.
Messy.
Oh, that's no. If we talk about Scheana, it's gonna get real messy. But
let's talk about Scheana.
Yes.
Tom has a very, very he almost gets sanctimonious at times. Like, he talks down to you. It's like he knows better, and he's always trying to lecture you on how to behave properly.
Yeah.
And I feel like, I don't want to say, like, since he's been with Ariana, implying that it's Ariana's influence, but, you know, like, he was lecturing her, like, oh, did you think that was the right way to behave? And it's like, dude, you're
not her mother.
But he's, like, behaved a lot worse. So, like, their relationship, I think this is the first time, though, where I feel like it's been an honest look at their relationship.
The first time we've seen a crack in anything, yeah.
Yeah, like, no relationship is perfect. Everyone knows that. But I feel like with them, we never really got too deep. We just saw them having fun together. And, you know, it was the opposite of Tom and Kristen. They were kind of stable and, you know, not cheating on each other every 5 seconds. And, like, this is the first time where it's like, okay, there's not trouble in paradise, but they're not just all, you know, unicorns and, you know,
bouncy castles.
I
was thinking of hair gel or fountain. I was thinking, oh, he shaves his forehead.
He shaves his forehead.
Yeah, he shaves his. It's not hair gel.
It's not all concealer and shaved foreheads. That's all.
There you go. Exactly.
Do you think his head's getting a little big, though? Because he confronted Lisa. Or no,
Are you talking about his haircut?
Yeah.
Both.
No, I miss his old hair. I'm not a fan of these braids and whatever he's got going on now. The color little things.
The highlights.
Go back to the flat iron, please. Please. But no, when he got caught talking to Tom by Lisa and her husband.
No, he was talking to Ariana.
Oh, right.
But he
messy.
He talked to Tom too, but
yeah, but she caught him and his Ariana.
Yeah.
And just that whole thing, and then to confront Lisa about I don't know, everything. She was giving him such a great opportunity. Like, shut the hell up and say yes.
This segment brought to you by Blokes Don't Kiss Guys, the hilarious new comedy starring James Kennedy as the British expat who methinks don't protest too much. Blokes Don't Kiss Guys, this fall on Logo.
It's not about the pasta.
But it is about the pasta.
How do you do English accent?
it's all about the pasta.
It's not about the pasta. I can't do it.
You can't.
I like yours. It's like a carried away, very posh version of James Kennedy. Oh, no, darling, it's not about the pasta.
It's not tip-top. It's not about the pasta at all.
It's not about the pasta. And I think he goes back and forth. He's like, it's not about the pasta. Oh, bully a little girl, no pasta. It's not about the pasta. He switches his A's back and forth.
He should just take his shirt off and shut up.
Okay, there you go.
I love how Jax is so into the spirit of things at Pride, and he doesn't even take his shirt off. My favorite is Ken just going, take your shirt off. Like, he's not fucking around. He's had to tell this to many people over the years. To take your shirt off.
I think Jax just got sexually harassed at work. His boss told him to take his shirt off.
You're right.
So
you're right.
Time's up, Ken. Time's up.
Well, sir, it stands for sexy, unique restaurant. That's part of the job. Take your shirt off.
Okay, well.
But I like when Tom was like, just put makeup on, Jax.
And stop crying.
Yeah.
Tom telling someone to stop crying is kind of right. Like, it's funny. Like,
it's a little rich, but it's great. I also like that because he is self-deprecating and will mock himself with that. And I also like how they're basically mocking Jax getting into his moody, because Jax gets real moody, but not even just his crazy moods, but he gets real like, I don't like that. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Jax is special. Like, he's there's a lot to unpack.
Special.
Very slow clap kind of special. Like, yeah, he's but honestly, I feel like when God made Jax, he looked at this world, God looked down on this world and said, there needs to be a person in this world that was made for reality TV.
Yeah.
And then he created Jax.
One day Vanderpump is gonna need Jax.
It's gonna need, the people of the world are gonna need Jax.
Someone to stir the pot.
So 38 years ago, roughly, the Lord said, one day, this
day.
whole
Let there
thing.
be Jax.
Yeah.
Let there be Jax.
It'll all make sense then.
For reality, for television, he's perfect.
He's gold.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every season revolves around him.
And just when you think he's either sort of tamed his ways or you've seen everything you can see with Jax,
he always finds a way to do something worse than the worst thing he's already done. Like,
yeah.
I don't know how it's possible, but like, okay, you slept with your best friend's girlfriend. It can't get any worse than that. Then he sleeps with a girl next to a 90-year-old, a comatose 90-year-old.
Yeah.
Like, and then he confesses whilst wearing a Taco Bell shirt.
What I want to know is why doesn't he like the idea of an open relationship? I know Brittany's not into it, but when they asked Jax if he was, he said he did not want one. That guy needs an open relationship.
Right.
He needs one like no other person needs one.
Yeah, but I feel like he's the type of guy that would never want his girlfriend doing what he's doing. Like, he likes the idea of having like a pure girlfriend like Brittany, like who's devoted to him, who's loyal to him. I don't think he could handle her off doing her own thing.
And I don't even think also that he wants to embrace the idea that he wants to step out. He just ends up stepping out at a point in the relationship where it's going to either destroy or severely compromise the relationship.
Because he's never actually broken up with a girlfriend. The girl has always done the dumping. So I thought like maybe this was his way of trying to get Brittany to break up with him.
Right.
You know, obviously this was filmed a few months ago, so that would have been my working theory at that time.
Sure.
But now he seems to be, you know, like, at least it appears like he wants to be in that relationship. But I thought maybe he's just trying to get Brittany to break up with him because...
Trying to sabotage it.
Yeah.
Well, that would make logical sense, but this whole thing does not square with any logic. Nothing makes sense at all. I mean...
Nothing Jax does make sense.
That's what makes this show amazing. That's what just makes
that's true.
Like, this show could go on forever. There's always going to be a story to tell.
Because, the dynamic of the group is such that it's inexhaustible, really.
Oh, yeah. And I don't think any of them are ever going to end up in happy, functional relationships. So, I mean... Let's get
your take, then, on everyone's relationships. So, let's start with Katie and Tom.
Ooh.
I love Tom. He's such a cutie, but...
Tom needs to grow a pair when it comes to defending his wife. Like
Sometimes he does. He has poured drinks over her head.
Not to his wife, for his wife.
Oh, for his wife.
I feel I kind of sympathize with Katie a little bit because I feel like she gets thrown under the bus a lot.
Yeah.
Like, people just love Schwartz so much that she's always going to look like a bitch in comparison.
Sure, right. She has to be the bad guy, yeah.
Yeah, and she explodes sometimes because I think she's just so frustrated because she can't win. Like, she has Scheana always throwing the word bully around, which, you know, because she's the patron saint of perpetual victimhood, but like...
By the way, I'd like to pause there. We just pause for a second and say hi to Scheana. She loves to listen to the show, but does not like to admit it. So I like to say hi at certain moments like that one you just mentioned. So say hi to Scheana.
Hi, Scheana.
Oh my
Christina can't.
I can't do it.
Christina can't. I'll say hi to you.
I would just want to ask her if she, like, doesn't she ever get tired of just playing the victim? Like, that has to be exhausting. Like, do you ever take responsibility for anything? Okay, get you started on this, but like...
Okay, Craig just told you that she listens to the podcast.
I don't care. Somebody needs to be honest with her. I feel like she's surrounded by sycophants. Like, Ariana, who I think is thebomb.com, I think she's incredibly intelligent.
Yeah.
Like, she's worldly, you know.
Judgmental.
Okay, that wasn't my... But I just, like...
I'm better than all of you.
I seriously judge her for not judging Scheana, though. Like, she's sitting there agreeing with Scheana, and I'm thinking, like, I thought you knew better than this. Like, you can't be defending this. Like... Scheana needs someone to just be honest with her and be like, you're doing to everybody else what you accuse other people of doing to you. She just has zero self-awareness. That's my issue with her.
Sure. Yeah. And I feel that it's really coming out very clearly this season. And now with the Rob thing, it seems like Rob's just not that into her. And
yes!
Right?
Thank you. Yes. I feel like when he talks, he has talking points, especially now that they've broken up.
Yeah.
I feel like he has things that he needs to say that they've they're best friends. They're always going to have respect for each other. They love each other. They're going to come back together at some point. We're figuring it out.
Yeah.
They definitely aren't on the same page. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Like, when she mentioned marriage, I was thinking to myself, Rob, blink twice if you need to be rescued. Like, he looked like he was being he was under duress.
Rob pays Scheana a visit at SUR, and Rob says, life is hard enough as it is. That's why you want good people in your life. If I'm going to be literally in your life and it doesn't work for me, then that's it. Doesn't that seem like not abusive, but it's kind of him telling her, like, you know, you better fucking buck up and forget this shit or I'm out of here.
I don't feel like she hears him when he talks. Like, he's giving her all kinds of clues that, like you said, he's just not that into you.
Yeah.
But she hears, it's almost like it goes in one ear one way and it comes out fairy dust and unicorns in the other. Like, oh my God, he just called me. Yeah, you know, if I'm in your life or not. Oh my God, he just said I'm his soulmate.
I'm smiling again.
I got my smile back.
I got my smile back.
You know
he wants
what,
me to
when
have
you-
my smile back, which is, I took it as him being like, hey, why don't you just like knock this shit off and smile and be happy? Because I don't really want to be around you any other way.
Like, I can't deal with you. Like,
Yeah.
it's when she says I can't have bad people in my life, I'm always shouting at the TV, that's you! The call is coming from inside the house. Like, it's you. The problem is maybe it's, you know, like Taylor Swift writes so many songs about like boys that do her wrong.
Yeah,
and it's like
right.
always the boy's fault. Like, maybe it's just you. Like, maybe it's just you, the Scheana Marie Shea story. Like, maybe it's actually just you. But
Maybe they could work together. Taylor could write a song for Scheana for her big musical
my
comeback.
God.
Oh, that would be a perfect duo.
There'd be
Yeah.
just like so much self-pity and
The video would be wild. After that whole thing, when they're standing there, Rob gives her not an ultimatum, but it's kind of like, listen, just like, you know, fucking get with it. She's like, I love you. And he just stands there slouching. He doesn't say anything.
no. His
I didn't
behavior.
catch that.
I did because I was waiting for her to like.
I watched the episodes too many times, so don't feel bad about that, Christopher.
I don't know if you've noticed this as well, or maybe this is just because I have an extreme bias when it comes to Scheana. So maybe
Oh, you know,
like,
I've been accused of that, so go ahead.
okay. Well, I'm saying it, so I can't be accused of it. I'm admitting to it, but I feel like the narrative surrounding like why they broke up has changed.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
First it was, oh, you know, like because she's doing a show in Vegas and the timing was off.
Yeah.
Then now I feel like, oh, it was Katie, Stassi, and Kristen's fault. So like it shifted to that. And then it became, well, Rob doesn't want to have anything to do with the show. I feel like she's trying to do damage control. She sees what comes out in each episode and she's trying to kind of shift the narrative into her favor because she doesn't want to. I think she's obsessed with making it look like Rob loves her as much as she loves him.
Right. And, you know, the trouble with that, when you keep changing your story, people actually remember or have, you know, they can scroll back a week and see what the previous version was. And also, there seems to be an unending supply of stories to various outlets like The Inquisitor about Rob and Scheana.
They really do post a lot.
Yeah, they really do. And I don't know, is anyone that caught up in them?
I am.
Christina definitely is.
And I have a full-time job, so nobody can say, like, get a hobby. Like, I have a master's degree and a full-time job. I have hobbies. Like,
Yeah.
I need this, okay?
Well, the degree is in psychology, right? So, I mean, this is very
Yes.
in line with all of that.
Well, I mean,
It's training.
yeah, sure, we'll go with that. Like, I take Vanderpump Rules as seriously as Ariana takes sketch comedy. We'll just say that. We'll go with that.
Good one.
No, like it's not me being like trying to be funny. It's true.
Yeah, you're dead serious about that, just like she
I'm
is about
dead.
stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
What a bitchy thing to say. That was so cunty.
Well, yeah, it was. I like Ariana a lot.
I don't think she's that, like, I don't find her funny. Ever.
Well,
But she takes it seriously.
I think with Ariana,
You're supposed to take comedy seriously. Just throwing it out there.
I listened to your podcast a lot over the years, just even the
Previous incarnation?
I didn't know how to put that, but that's the great way to put it. But yeah, I'm a huge fan. So I love when you have the actual stars of the show on there. And so, like, I really like Ariana. I do on the show and when she's, interviews off the show, especially like things on this podcast. But I just feel like she has this really mean side to her. Like when she cuts, she goes deep. Like she's
like Madonna. She goes deeper and deeper.
Christopher's gay. If you didn't know, everybody, he's gay.
Wait, what? Hold on a second. Wait a second. I'm glad I'm sitting down because I am shocked. And this.
Hey, we just had the Pride episode. So
that's right.
It's good you have a gay guest, right?
The misscheduling worked out very well.
Yeah.
Even though Scheana tried to make it all about her. She's struggling. She can't eat the pasta.
She can't eat. And then when Lisa says, well, are you going to eat? And she's like, I've been trying. I don't know. And look, I'm not trying to make light of anyone's actual anxiety disorder or whatever. But I mean, at my worst, eating's never been a problem. I mean, if anything, I'm more like Brittany.
We're Italian.
Oh, okay. That's right. Yeah.
That's all we do is eat.
You're sad you eat, happy you eat. Right. This is,
you know what? I don't, again, keep my bias in mind, but I don't doubt that Scheana was seriously anxious or, going through. So, you could definitely tell something was wearing on her. I just feel like it's misplaced.
No, I got you. Yeah.
She focuses on the witches of WeHo all the time. Everything is always their fault. And it's I think a huge part of her was probably believing what they were saying. And it was just easier to throw them under the bus than to admit that there's a fracture in another one of her relationships, because the thing with Shay went so sour and, she was out there trying to, Lisa said, she's there Scheana was talking about how glorious her relationship with Shay was. Meanwhile, he went missing. He actually went missing.
He was in one of the cabins with pillows over his head so they wouldn't film him.
He was in a bunker. So I just feel like Scheana, and to go to sort of to the preview for next episode, she's very fake. She tries to put on a front, everything has to look a certain way. Everything has to be picture perfect.
Everything has to fit a certain narrative, and she's working overtime to make everything conform to that. The trouble is that she's not really great at figuring out how people are going to react to the front that she's putting on. So she mismanages that, and then it flips her out double because it's not the way that she wants it to look. And so then it's working quadruple time. And I think that that's where the anxiety comes from. And also this whole notion of blaming the witches of WeHo, and that might have worked last year. It's almost like you're carrying on a premise or a notion or, a vibe from last summer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not having the same parties that you did last summer or whatever. There's seasons for sorts of things, not just on a show. And it just feels like, all right, enough already. And also, no one is bringing this up over and over again. Katie brought it up once, which, by the way, everyone loves to forget on the show that Katie's the one. I've said this a million times on the podcast, but everyone loves to forget that Katie's the one that let us all know that Jax and Kristen had sex, because they put her in the corner. And don't put do not put Tequila Katie in the corner, because, if you got some shit, she knows about it and it's going to come out.
And that's the thing with what we were going back to what we were saying before. It's first of all, Sheena's doing to Katie what she's accusing Katie of doing to her. So she can't, there's no, she doesn't have a leg to stand on here. And with Katie, I feel like there's just so many, it's like with Jax, there's so many obvious zingers there. There's a lot to work with. If you want to, you could talk about Jax's infidelity. With Katie, you could talk about Tom's infidelity, or the Tequila Katie thing.
Sure.
It's very easy to come for them.
Yeah.
Or to, and I, that's why I feel like Katie gets a bit of a bad rep.
Especially last season when it just became the convenient thing to say, well, you were probably drunk and rageful. Anything she said.
Except when she came for Tom's penis, because she was sober. She was dry.
She was dead sober there.
She was not drinking.
What a great flashback. When I was watching that with my friend, and I just paused and I was like, God, I love Angry Katie on the show because she can be vicious.
I love it too.
She can be.
Yeah.
But it's like you said, it's the convenient narrative to go with, at the opening, at the opening episode this season.
Yeah.
Scheana was and there we go, rage text from Katie. And it's when you actually read what they were saying, it wasn't rageful. some of the points, some of the grievances Katie has with Schwartz are valid. Like, it's not asking too much for your fiance, now husband, to not go to a party of the girl who's basically like spreading nasty rumors about you. Like, you shouldn't have gone. Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. Part of me would have wanted to have gone to that party too, because I want to be there with my camera, like, hey, what's going on here? Like,
I think sometimes he's trying to do it to make peace. Like when he met Saucy that time, when he met Saucy for lunch to or to hear her side of the story. And look, that fixed their relationship.
Yeah, but I don't think you should want to fix anything with Scheana. Sorry.
That's a really good point, too. Although we see some kind of flash of something in the preview for next episode where Schwartz says you're the fakest person in the whole building. And I can't wait to see that whole thing unfold.
I can't wait to see that too.
Like, honestly, for years I wore hair extensions, and if I still had them in my hair, they would have been snatched when I was watching that preview. Like, he was saying everything that every viewer of the show has been thinking. Like, she's there lecturing everyone on what it means to be a true, genuine person.
And to hear that come from Schwartz,
I know,
of all people,
I know. And Mr. Gentle, when he goes nuts, it's like, remember at the mixology fight when at the end of it, he's at the top of the stairs and he's like swinging a bottle around like, come on, James.
Yeah.
He goes to another dimension.
Can I go off topic for a second?
Yeah, please.
Because I'm messy. Okay. That's what messy queens do. Well, you two kept mentioning the Witches of WeHo, and I just realized I was in WeHo for Halloween, dressed as a witch.
Oh, that's perfect.
And so I was a witch of WeHo. Look at me go. And dressed just as drunk as everyone on Vanderpump Road. And I was across the street from Sir at the time.
That's a very drunk part of town. And during that time, I was down there at like 11:30 or 12 o'clock around that time, maybe even last year, actually. And it's so drunk. People are like zombies walking around. I mean, there's fun going on, but there's just like some people with dead eyes.
Because we were on vacation, we showed up to, what's the Mexican place across the street with the big margaritas? The big slushy, delicious...
Toca Madero, is that across the street?
Where Jen Bush saw Rob make out with.
He sounds familiar.
I should know it's across the street, but there's also Tortilla Republic, which is next door to...
I'm not sure which one it was, but we showed up at 11 a.m. for breakfast, and we just started drinking instead. No one was on the street yet. No one was in costume yet, except for us. Yeah. And... because we were the only ones in costume, the news cameras were attacking us. We were all
great.
Over WeHo News.
Honestly, though, Jen Bush saw Rob kissing a girl at Toca Madero sounds like the solution to gay Clue. It was Jen Bush at Toca Madero.
Sorry, kissing the hostess or whatever. Yeah, there's some. By the way, on that story, on Watch What Happens Live, Ariana said that they were with him the whole night. But Kristen, when they bring up the allegation, says that, they were together for hours or whatever. It was before they all got together that it allegedly happened. So
that's why I didn't understand that defense. Like, and Ariana has posted this on Twitter as well. Like, she's been, and that's another reason... that's another reason I'm confused with Ariana, because she's like always been about the facts. Like, when Tom was accused of, sleeping with Miami girl back in the day. And then, like the rumors about Lala, she's always been, and I respect her for it, it's rumors are just rumors until they're facts kind of thing.
Exactly. And Sandoval and Ariana are both big on science. So it's all about the facts.
Hashtag
not
science.
The pasta.
Yeah, not the pasta. Not the pasta. Read between the fucking lines. Yeah.
It's just like, I was really confused by that whole defense. I could understand, that, and there's I feel like there's more than one defense going on. Because first Scheana jumped on the Ariana bandwagon unless he was with us the whole night, he didn't do anything. Then it was, we're just friendly people when we greet other people.
Right, when she was talking to Jen, and she was like, he probably kissed her on the cheek and maybe accidentally kissed her lip. And then I also like her whole summary of that. She was like, she said one story, Jen said a totally different one. And then Scheana goes, fine, that sounds just like what I was saying. Case closed.
She doesn't, maybe the girl maybe she's hearing impaired. Like, maybe we're picking on someone with a disability. Like she just, you're like, hit the nail on the head. Like, she doesn't hear words the way they're being spoken.
Yeah, she hears what she wants to hear.
Yeah.
I did feel bad for her this episode, actually, because she just seems so clearly unwilling to see that Rob doesn't want to be with her. And it's always sad to see anyone in that situation.
Yeah.
I wanted to get back to you. So you said you were in West Hollywood for Halloween. How many times have you both been out here, or just you?
No, I haven't.
That was my first time. I begged Xtina to come with me.
And why didn't you come? Why didn't you go?
I am a new Vanderpump Rules fan. Xtina got me hooked on the show, and so I was.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
It's the gift that keeps on giving.
I hadn't watched it before I came out for Halloween.
Like
oh wow! Okay,
I watched it. I started watching it soon after, and I'm hooked now. Like episode 1.
Yeah,
I am hooked. That's all I watch.
I could tell when he's binge watching because I'll be at work and my phone will just go off and he'll be like, "Oh my god, like Jax really did get a girl pregnant in Vegas. Oh my god, the girls were wrong." Like,
and she's like, "That bitch! I heard that 2 years ago."
And I'm just like, just wait till you get to season 2. Like, season 1 was child's play. Sorry, I'm interrupting. But
so no, like I was in Sir. But I didn't know that it was Sir. I didn't know it was from Vanderpump Rules. I was in Pump. I didn't know it was Lisa Vanderpump's Clueless. Clueless.
Lance Bass ruined your picture.
Yeah. We ran into Ginger Minge from RuPaul's Drag Race outside of Pump, I believe. Or was it Sir? One or the other. And there was an event going on there. And she called us over, and we just started chatting. But Lance Bass came storming in between us and just cut off the conversation.
Oh, man.
Lisa Vanderpump's friend there.
Justin Timberlake, come get your boy.
Yeah.
He seems like he would fuck up a party somehow.
Right?
Yeah.
He's like Mario Lopez. He's just randomly in every reality show as a guest.
I know.
He's at parties that reality shows film at, and it's like, at the bottom, you see, Mario Lopez, TV star, and
it's
then Lance Bass.
So funny she mentions that because I know him from My Life on the D-List with Kathy Griffin.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah.
And I almost said to him, I was just about to say I loved you in Backstreet Boys. So glad I bit my tongue.
Well, you never know. That could have been a great moment, too. Do you mean well but sometimes say the wrong thing? Are you usually pretty smart, but on social media sometimes a ding-a-ling? This kind of confusion can lead to some heavy suffering. But you're not alone anymore. Not when you sign up for the Stassi Schroeder Sensitivity Training School. The Stassi Schroeder Sensitivity Training School. Learn how to keep some things private comedy. Learn how to apologize without inflaming the situation. Most importantly, learn what hot-button words you should never ever say, even after too much Pinot or Chardonnay. The Stassi Schroeder Sensitivity Training School. Tuesdays and Thursdays in the back room of the Pleasure Chest, Santa Monica Boulevard, West Hollywood. And for those outside Los Angeles or shut-ins based in Los Angeles, Stassi's lessons are available via online courses at smartandfinal.com. In the opening spate of activities, the ladies go to some clinic. They don't say what it is. We don't see any outside. I had to rewind. I thought, I must not have been paying attention. No, I think they just don't spend enough time in the clinic. They're just like, they're talking about Botox. They say one or two things. Then we're out of there. So I don't know what that was.
There was no promo for the clinic involved there.
No promo. No Dr. Lakey. No. They're just talking about they want to get Botox sometime this year. They're filling out some paperwork. Gone.
Done.
Maybe they were just picking up a brochure. Can I just say that again, I know how this looks. Like, I'm on a Scheana tangent. I know, like, I'm probably going to get a lot of hate tweets.
Here we go.
Scheana's fans,
it's the guest prerogative to say whatever they like, and so please come with all of it.
I find it so funny that, Ariana, Lala, and Scheana are sitting there, and Sheena's, griping about the witches of WeHo again, and then Ariana makes a comment like, "Oh, they just sit around at lunch talking about wine." Like, what do you think Scheana talks about? like, is she sitting there talking about the nuances of world peace, or like, I don't know, like
the subtext of mother?
In what world am I living in that Ariana thinks Scheana has substance? Like, she somehow made Pride, which is about liberating a marginalized community and celebrating them as such.
Right.
And she's making it all about her,
her failing relationship.
Her failing relationship and her, inability to have good people around her. It's like, try being Billy Lee for 5 seconds. You wouldn't last a day. That's, to me, what Pride, that episode should have really been about, is more. I would have liked to have seen more about Billy Lee.
A lot of drama always happens on the Pride episodes, though.
Although, I was surprised this year Jax wasn't hammered. Usually Jax is fucked up on Pride. Yeah.
Well, he had enough shit going on.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Well, that's why you drink, though.
Adult medicine.
It's just, like, I find it funny. It's like, we're trying to, liberate a marginalized community, and Scheana's crying to Lisa Vanderpump about how these girls are mean to her. It's like, well, I think the people around you can educate you a little bit about what it means to really be a victim of bullying. Like, let's
Oh, sorry. I was looking for a photo and accidentally queued up a video from Dynasty. What you were saying before about how Christopher's catching up on the series and will just text you at random times about it. So I've been doing that with my friend Kieran, but with Dynasty. So over the holidays, I was binging Dynasty, and I was like, oh my God, Alexis and Crystal are fighting.
How far are you?
So I'm deep into season 5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So have you gone through there's been some cast changes.
Oh, yes. Yeah, exactly. So Fallon, right? Well, Fallon's gone. Yeah. So you're a big Dynasty fan as well. That's great.
More of the earlier seasons, I'd say, like the first maybe up to about season 4.
Season 4 up until the end is great. Now, my friend had told me that I would start to lose interest mid-season 4. And I was like, no, he's wrong. So maybe season 5 is going to be great. Season 5, not so great. I find myself doing a lot of tasks around the house while season 5 is playing. Do you know what I mean? And like, I'm like, I have to wrap some stuff up to send off to people. I'll do that while I watch this. So
season 5 Dynasty. I don't remember too much about season 6, but I do remember it picking up steam again.
Oh,
so
good.
I would hold on maybe for another season.
I'm definitely committed to seeing what happens. At least until it gets.
Now.
No, exactly. I'm too into it. It's too much a part of me now. And actually, I was telling Sandoval about Dynasty, because I was having this discussion about how, like, I should really watch something from the current century that's, other than Vanderpump Rules. And I was like, no, I haven't seen any of the new Black Mirror. I've been watching Dynasty. And then we were joking back and forth. And then I was like, oh, wait, I forgot to watch the new episode of Vanderpump because I was watching Dynasty. And he's like, dude, our show is Dynasty. And I was like, it is. No wonder I like it so much. Yeah. Who
would be Crystal Carrington?
Oh, that's great. Brittany, because she's so pure and like, but why? Maybe?
Yeah,
what do you think?
But then Jax can't be.
No, you're right. He's not Blake.
No.
But
then again, maybe like they don't have. It doesn't necessarily have to be true to the show, though.
No, you're right. It doesn't have to be like lumped together in couples. So we can just take individual characters.
Now, I love Joan Collins.
Yeah.
So Alexis is pure evil, and so is Scheana. But I would not want Scheana to be anywhere near the legacy of Joan Collins. So we'll just skip. Lala can be Alexis.
Well, because I love to think of like in a bizarro world that Lisa Vanderpump is Joan Collins. Do you know what I mean? Like there is some kind of tie there. I don't know if you've ever seen the movies The Stud or The Bitch, but she plays a club owner, and it's very funny because it's almost like a bizarro land Lisa Vanderpump.
And they kind of look the same too. Like they have a similar look with the volumized brown hair, and they always have a lot of jewelry on, very regal.
A penchant for loud hats.
Yes. Yeah. And bright colors.
Yeah,
lip
exactly.
Fillers. I'm not judging. I am not judging.
So maybe James Kennedy could be Stephen Carrington just for the possible bi tendencies.
All I heard was James has bi tendencies. What?
Well, the alleged bi tendencies. I mean, so let's get into that again. I feel like we didn't give that enough attention. Yeah. So, I mean, this is the meat of the episode, really, right?
Yeah.
So here's my take on it. Someone had said something at the beginning of the season that people shouldn't be freaked out if James is gay or whatever. And I don't think it has anything to do with that. It's the fact that he's with someone, and he's clearly maybe with someone else, and they don't seem to have some kind of arrangement. It seems like he's dangling someone in front of the person he's with.
And I think actually Kristen tweeted something about that because someone accused her of being like homophobic.
That's right.
Or like making a homophobic comment the last, you know, in the preview for next week's episode, she said like, you know, he dips his foot in the dick pond or something like that.
Right.
And her whole point, she replied back to this person, and her point was basically what you said, that the point is like no one would have a problem if he was gay. It's that he's
cheating, essentially.
Yeah, it's cheating. It's like it's you can't kind of nail Jax to a cross. And then
I don't care if he's gay. I'm hoping he's gay. I would love to see that.
A previous podcast guest, Jake Shears, once first said, he was like, "Oh, honey, that's a Shadow Lounge queen if I've ever seen one." Because Shadow Lounge is a big gay bar in England that used to be owned at one point by the Vanderpump Todd Corporation. And then on his return appearance, he said, "I just have to apologize to the entire gay community for ever insinuating that James Kennedy was gay. That's a blemish on our community."
He's having a good season, though. So maybe,
that's true.
He, like, honestly, like, his impression... Where was he? Was sitting with Lisa in the Vanderpump Dogs office.
At which time?
Like, that episode was... He was just giving me all kinds of life, that episode. Like, he went into a bathroom and stole the recording from Faith's phone.
That's amazing.
Like, that's legend status right there. Like,
how do you even do that?
I don't know. He's James Bond.
I'm pretty protective with my phone.
Nobody touching my phone but me.
No, exactly. Even if I'm showing someone a photo, it's like it stays in your hand, and then you take it away. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. Part of me feels like, I don't know, I think Faith wanted that to get out, so I don't think she'd be as protective with it as
Fair point.
you or I would. I think, like, she's just been thirsty from the beginning. Like, was dying for a spot on the show.
I mean, I've kept my post-sex recording with Jax very quiet, so I just try to keep that away from that.
As most of us have.
Right.
And you're not even going to say alleged.
Well, no, I mean, no, wait, cut this out. Make a note, cut this out.
Or just add alleged.
Just add it in.
I'll like a very bad off, like, allegedly, or I'll just I'll bleep the name.
I've allegedly recorded myself.
My recording with...
Hey, it caused a lot of attention not hearing the recording. So, you know,
well,
if you
you're right.
a part of that, we might go viral.
I'll put up a web video. I'll put up a web video of just me holding my phone, like, shocked, listening to my own recording, alleged recording.
Yeah.
You have to have a really concerned look on your face, though, when you're doing that. Like, they all look like they were really, like, it had... I don't. It's like they were listening to OJ actually killing Nicole on that recording.
Oh my
like,
God.
Yeah, no, you're right.
But, like,
oh my God.
That was a level of horror mixed with this sort of intense, focused, like studying for a test look that they had.
Yeah.
Except for Peter, who was just in the back, horrified. I think that's a good meme. Sort of like you holding your phone up and Photoshop Peter in the background, just sort of holding his head, trying to figure out how he can get out of the room.
This segment brought to you by the show that's bringing the shenanigans to Vegas. Sex tips for straight women from a gay man. Sex tips for straight women from a gay man is the perfect Las Vegas show for girls' night out, guys' night out, and bachelorette parties with its funny, relatable, and absolutely must-see star power. Following its record-breaking Broadway run in New York City and subsequent sold-out tours across America, this comedy now shares its upbeat brand of comedy and titillating tips in a sparkling production at Paris, Las Vegas. Scheana Shay and co-star Chester Lockhart fill the mighty shoes of Kendra Wilkinson-Baskett and Jay Rodriguez to shed some light on your sex life for 5 months starting on January 4th, 2018. The popularity of this production is no surprise, given its source material is the international best-selling book of the same name, which has been published in over 50 different countries and translated into 17 different languages. Get in on the sexy fun with tickets from showtickets.com or Groupon. It's the only show in Vegas that not only offers advice, but advice that keeps on giving. Sex tips for straight women from a gay man. Get your tickets now.
You know, Scheana was hosting that dinner party. She didn't even cook. I love how she made the comment of like, yeah, you could do a lot of cooking in this kitchen. Like, girl, you don't cook. Not with those nails. Like, come on.
Also, when she goofed on Shay's dietary habits, from what I recall, she enjoyed all the same foods. I think we mentioned that in the last episode, but she mentions the marriage thing, she's like, "Oh, I'm just kidding." She wasn't kidding.
Wasn't kidding.
No,
not even a little bit.
I'm pretty serious about comedy, like you are, and I did not catch a whiff of comedy.
I honestly though, like, I think there's, you know how she kind of makes a lot of comparisons to Shay?
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
You know, she throws Shay under the bus a lot in the sense that when she's trying to talk Rob up, she talks Shay down at the same time.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of truth in what she says about, like, how she said to Lisa when she was drunk, "This is all I've wanted for 12 years.
Right.
I feel like Rob when they were together the first time around or doing whatever they were doing 12 years ago or however long it was.
Yeah.
I feel ridiculous that I know how long ago it was to the exact year, but
well, they're hard numbers to forget because when you hear them, you go, 12 years? What the hell is she talking about? 4 years? What the?
Does she have a counter for, like, she has that divorce counter on her phone?
On her app, she probably has that too.
But I think that it's, like, I really do think there's some truth there that Rob has always sort of been the one that got away and they've never been on the same page about...
He didn't get away. He ran away.
He hopped on a bus and got out of town. Yeah.
On the midnight train to Georgia, he was gone.
He opted out very severely. And then also another thing, when she says, well, that's ridiculous, when the accusation first comes up at Brittany's apartment. That's ridiculous. I mean, he's just not a kisser. I mean, not even with me. I mean, excuse me? When someone's not a kisser with you, what does that usually mean? They don't want
to.
Yeah.
My boyfriend doesn't want to kiss me. What?
That's because kissing is so intimate.
And you want to marry him?
Yeah.
Are you the prostitute? Are you Julia Roberts in Pretty Woman?
And I mean, is Rob supposed to be Richard Gere? Because I mean,
well, I mean, he does drive a nice car.
Yeah.
Doesn't Rob drive a nice? Or no, he just has a nice house. I haven't seen his car. I lied. Sorry. Sassy said something when the trailer first dropped for Vanderpump Rules.
Yeah.
She said, I don't think it was in relation to this specific story, but the way it was edited, it looked like it was. And she's like, where there's smoke, there's fire with this group.
Right.
I think that's very true for the James and Logan situation. Again, I'm not speculating about his actual sexuality, but I do think something happened with them.
Oh, you do? See, if I'm going to be real, I don't believe anything did happen. I think James loves the attention.
Oh, that's interesting.
I think James loves to have somebody that worships him around to make his hot little ego fire up.
That likely supersedes his sexual drive, the ego drive.
And every time Lisa Vanderpump lectures him and brings him down a couple levels, he needs to have somebody to bring that ego back up.
That's a really good point.
It wouldn't shock me if they did hook up. Again, I wouldn't necessarily make the jump to him being gay.
Right.
I think like that I would have to see more of before I make a speculation about that. But I do think that where there's smoke, there's fire, and I think that there's been a line crossed with.
So he's kind of like Andy Dick, where okay, if you suck mine, I'll suck yours too.
As some people have said about Jax, he's a kind of a whole as a whole guy, maybe.
That's right. Yeah. Or like Jax would, back in the day when he was a model. Jax was a model, right? Yeah, he was a model. That John guy.
Oh, John.
That he lived with. Yeah.
I think like Jax, there's no way Jax is gay, but it's like if someone offered him a modeling job and said like,
Jax actually melted my heart a little bit on all the gay themes over that storyline. How sweet he was about it, and how he was like, so what? I'm friends with a gay guy. I'm like, yeah, it's 2018, people. Like, I have lots of straight guy friends. Like, come to the gay bars with me and pick up women and have a great time. They're not gay at all, just because they're hanging out with me and going to gay bars. I was
actually really proud of Jax this episode because he used, like, over the past, I think it was last season or maybe the season before that, when he was talking about what it means to be transgendered, he said some things that upset a lot of people. But I was actually really proud of him this last episode because he approached the Billy Lee subject so well. Like, he used the proper pronouns and he was saying, I can't imagine what it would be like to be kind of like going through that struggle of being born in the wrong body. Like, he obviously had some very Jax-like takes on it, right?
With that, I find that sometimes he's clumsy. Like when he got into trouble last year, he was actually trying to say something helpful or understanding or sympathetic. He's not the best with words sometimes.
He's not, and we've all
he's better than Britney's mom. I'll give him that.
that honestly, when he saw Britney's mom walk in the room,
oh
that
my
look
God.
on his
the
face
look hiding in the corner
was pure. Honestly, it was like a child watching The Exorcist for the first time. It was pure, unadulterated horror. He was terrified.
Oh, the preview clips of them having discussions. I mean, can you imagine all this shit's gone down, and then her mom shows up. You just know we're in for trouble.
But he did take a lot of heat from her family, though, on Jackson Brittany to Kentucky.
Sure.
Not allowing alcohol on your farm.
No, but just
that's a bit much.
That's enough heat. That's a bit much.
That's way too much. Yeah.
He was just the minute he got there, everyone's like, so what are your intentions? Not just what are your intentions, but when are you going to marry Brittany?
Yeah.
Right. When? Yeah.
They gave him a lot of. And I'm not saying that,
Here's the countdown app, just like Scheana's divorce app.
Yeah. They're obviously they're more conservative and traditional, and things are done a little differently maybe in their part of the United States. And so.
Because they don't have alcohol.
Okay.
There's your first problem.
If they were drunk. Her mom seems very sweet, though, but very Southern, very conservative, sort of the quintessential Southern belle. So,
And now, do you remember that homophobic? Well, everyone said it was homophobic. Do you guys think it was homophobic after Jax's roast?
Oh, right.
Yeah, she didn't care about, you slept with this person and that person. You slept with a guy.
Right.
I don't know. It's the way it came out.
I don't think it was homophobic. I think it was sort of, again, I don't know if I'm a straight woman, so I don't know if I'm the best person to judge what's homophobic or not, but I think it was more of just what any mother whose daughter's dating a guy would say, if you heard, if my mom heard a rumor that my boyfriend was sleeping with a guy, she'd be horrified, not because he was gay, but because your daughter's boyfriend is sleeping with a guy. I think it came from a place of shock.
Yeah.
Not disgust.
Right, but we had Zach on the podcast. I think the episode.
Zach Wickman.
Yeah, that's right. So he came on, and he grew up knowing Sherry. So
right. I heard that episode of yours.
Cool. I was happy that he was able to come on during that week too, because it was very confusing. It did come across a certain way on the show,
right?
And it's also
with
easy
that editing.
And also that a lot of times you hear it in that accent, and in given the circumstances, you think, oh, okay. In this era. Exactly.
It could go either way.
I had to revisit it, listening to the aftermath of it all.
Yeah.
To see how I really felt.
Realistically, I don't think any mother of any daughter who has a boyfriend would be particularly thrilled to hear that their daughter's boyfriend
sucked a dick.
Yeah, and then again, my mom is the least homophobic person.
Yeah.
But I don't think she would be too thrilled with hearing that news either. Just like she wouldn't be thrilled to hear that my boyfriend was sleeping with another girl.
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
There's just a different level of shock, obviously.
Yeah.
Because it's
and it's also something that they're not used to maybe of their generation. It's just something like that it's just an unusual thing to hear.
Yeah, first time I heard it, I thought, ooh, that's not,
It was the way it came out.
Yeah.
It was it didn't bother me that you've been cheating on all your girlfriends or doing coke off a hooker's ass or whatever.
You couldn't feel your teeth, Yeah,
but how dare you make out with another guy in 1989?
How dare you?
How dare you?
You're so selfish.
You're so gay.
This segment brought to you by the men's room at the Shadow Lounge.
Well, you two should come out here, and we should all hit the restaurants. That'd be fun sometime.
That would be my...
That would be amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah. You do need to come out next time.
Yeah, no,
I thought
definitely.
you said I need to come out. I'm like, what?
Christina, listen, I've been listening to what you talk about, and I just feel that it's time now that you need to come out.
Yeah.
No one would be surprised.
Who are your favorites on the show, each of you?
Oh.
And you can give any reason too, like love to hate, which I think I know Christina's answer. Or
there's no love there though. It's hate/pity because the psychologist in me kind of like there's so much work that could be done there if she just. First step is admitting you have a problem.
I'm up and down with people. It depends which season.
Yeah,
sure, that's true.
I was a huge fan of Stassi, but then she left the show, and then when she came back for a while, it was too forced.
You think? Okay. Yeah.
She was holding back a lot. It wasn't forced. It was like scared to say anything because she really wanted to build those relationships again. So I found that boring. Kristen, when she's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, I fucking love her. I love it.
It's so tough for me. It's very season dependent.
It is, which is also, by the way, very Dynasty. Right? They make Blake is really kind of horrifying in the first season. Second season starts to be a little warmer, right? And then I think third season he's like Mr. Lovey-Dovey. Then season 4 to 5 he starts to get a little crusty again. And also, well, I mean, Alexis is everyone's beloved, but it's very similar.
Yeah, Alexis is again the quintessential love to hate. Like she's pure evil, but you can't help but cheer for her. She had Crystal knocked from a horse when she was pregnant, and you're still like somehow rooting for this woman, and she like practically committed manslaughter. Like, you know what I mean? But I don't know. You
know what? My favorite, Tom Schwartz.
Oh yeah.
I just want to pinch his cheeks and cuddle him.
I do feel like
he's so cute.
He's the most complete character. I like my reality stars with a hint of self-awareness. I'm okay with them being shitty people as long as in the end they admit that they've been shitty people.
Sure,
I like the redemption tour. That's one thing about like...
And that's sort of Stassi has come full circle and she's like admitting all her wrongs.
Stassi's always been like that though, right?
Yeah, that's what I love about her.
I do like the more well-rounded Stassi where I found in the first couple seasons, I obviously loved watching her, but I thought she was just so, not unpleasant, but so aggressive that now we see more of her vulnerability, and so that combined with her, I feel it's a whole person now.
We've watched her grow up.
Oh.
I actually see more, and again, I don't want to make this like a generalization. I don't know how they are off camera, but this is just based on the show.
Sure.
But I see more accountability from someone like Kristen and Stassi. And again, I don't know how genuine it is or whatever, but on the show anyways, they seem to be more willing to admit their wrongs than like Tom and Ariana are.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Because like, you know, that whole thing with them kissing in Vegas, like it did happen, but they went the whole season of trying to make Kristen look crazy. And I just don't feel like they were that remorseful about her. They never said like, that was wrong of us to do. Like, it was kind of just like, well, she's crazy. What do you expect?
I never blamed her for all that stuff. It was when I thought she was crazy when she was yelling at her managers and the way she was
suck a dick.
Yeah, suck a dick. And like you're working. Those are your bills that you're paying.
Ariana lied to protect Tom, which is a whole other story. But like Tom was just like kind of. But then again, Kristen did sleep with Jack, so
there you
I
go.
Guess he's not going to be all that apologetic to a girl who kind of. But even like this season. You know how him and Ariana were trying to justify like talking shit about Lisa in her restaurant. Like, oh, she shouldn't have been listening. And I'm like, really? That's the defense you want to go with there? Like, she shouldn't have been listening. It's like, well, Faith shouldn't have been taping Jax. Like, that's getting mad at Faith for taping Jax.
Can we talk about that?
Oh, please.
How the hell... was she getting doggy styled and she pulled her phone out and hit record? What happened?
This was like an afterglow.
Oh,
that's right.
Like after they had done the deed,
like
son's protection,
smoking the cigarette moment.
Except she was smoking the phone. Like she,
she was waving the smoke away from the elderly woman who was probably awake at the time.
Yeah.
I hope, like honestly, this is gonna sound really bad to say, but there was a scene in, like, I'm a big Golden Girls fan.
By the way, Jax is a massive Golden Girls fan.
Oh,
No.
Oh, absolutely. Go. You look through his Twitter in the last couple of weeks. Oh, yeah, he loves the Golden Girls.
Oh, wow.
So, okay, he's not a sociopath. And this just concludes it.
Yeah, you can't
But
be if you like the Golden Girls, yeah.
No.
Now he's your soulmate.
There's one, wow. I don't want to go that far, but there's one scene in the show where Dorothy says, like, she puts a mirror under Sophia's nose every morning, and if it fogs, she knows to start the coffee or to turn the pot on. And like when they were talking about the 90-year-old woman, I'm like, did someone check on her with a mirror to make sure that there was like if they were doing all of this stuff beside her and she didn't move, like poke her, like make sure that she was still with us, like
poke her. I think they were poking enough of their own things that poking the 90-year-old woman wasn't on their mind.
No. Well, that's true.
Faith claims that, I think in maybe Inquisitor or some other article, that she was going to be working on songs that night, so she had her voice recorder just recording. So by that logic, she may have...
Right.
Just leave it on. She's really free with her phone, apparently. Hands it to James, leaves her voice recorder on accidentally. So that would mean if she did do that, then she would actually have the whole act on tape, if you will.
That's true.
Yeah.
No, that girl is shady as hell. Like, she's shady, thirsty, all of those gay words, adjectives you throw out there, but like... that gay Twitter taught me. Gay Twitter taught me how to be thirsty, and to snatch my weave, bitch. But
I had a great time talking to you two.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming on the show.
It's been great.
Yeah. It's so much fun. So where can people find you on the web?
You could go to messyqueens.com to get all our links. At Messy Queens on Twitter.
Where we're on a lot.
We're very active on Twitter.
Yeah.
And
lots of opinions. If you want more opinions, go to their Twitter.
Tons of opinions. And please subscribe to our podcast, Messy Queens. Yeah.
And you know, that reminds me, I've been meaning to say this on every episode and I forgot. So if you're listening to this now, subscribe to this show on iTunes. And also for both of our shows, please leave a review.
Yay!
Please leave reviews.
Christopher loves reviews.
Yes. The good and the bad.
He loves the bad one.
I love the bad one.
Oh, really?
Not on our iTunes page. Leave it off of iTunes.
Just hate tweet him.
Hate tweet me. I love it.
Find us on Instagram and Twitter at PumpRulesPod, or go to PumpRulesPodcast.com for more information. Email pumprulspodcast@gmail.com and follow on Facebook at facebook.com/PumpRulesPodcast. Thanks for listening and see you next time.